Look at this. The timing is precise. The pitch is perfectly accurate. Every single note on the page is being executed without a single flaw, and yet it sounds completely dead. That highlights a distinct limitation of standard sheet music. The notes on the staff only give you half the equation. They tell you exactly what pitch to play and when to play it, but they leave out the single most important part of making music: how to actually play it. To bridge that gap, composers rely on a specific, centuries-old Italian vocabulary. For anyone taking the ABRSM Grade 1 exam, this lexicon acts as a set of hidden stage directions, allowing composers to inject mood, physical action, and raw emotion right into the ink. This code breaks down into 3 distinct dimensions that you need to master. First, tempo, which dictates the speed. Second, dynamics, controlling the volume. And finally, articulation and navigation, which tell you the physical style of the strike and how to move through the page. Knowing these terms transforms a performance from a mechanical sequence of button presses into a narrative. This vocabulary serves as the vital connection between the machine and the artist. Let's break down the code. This is the official Grade 1 list for tempo, the speed of the piece. At the top, we have the slowest instructions. Adagio and lento both command you to play slowly. As we move down the list, we reach a moderate walking pace with andante, before hitting moderato, which simply means at a moderate speed. Continuing down the same column, we pick up the pace. When a piece needs energy, you'll see allegro, meaning quick. If you need it fast but not quite at top speed, the composer will write allegretto for a fairly quick tempo. Speeds rarely stay static. If a composer wants to build tension by gradually getting faster, they will write in accelerando. Conversely, pulling back the speed requires its own commands. Rallentando and ritardando are frequently used interchangeably in scores, and both instruct you to gradually get slower. But look at the notes section of this term sheet. There is a critical distinction between ritardando, which is gradual, and ritenuto. Ritenuto commands the player to hold back and immediately play slower. Both get abbreviated to rit, so reading the context on the page is everything. Once the speed manipulation is complete, the phrase a tempo tells you to return to the original speed of the piece. To know exactly what that baseline speed is, composers often use a metronome mark, like mm=80, meaning precisely 80 beats per minute. Stretching and compressing time through these tempo commands is how a performer physically builds up and releases psychological anticipation in the listener's ear. Once you have the speed, you need the volume. In music, we call this dynamics. For quiet passages, the instruction is piano, represented by a lowercase p. If you need it very quiet, you drop down to pianissima, marked by a double P. Looking at this dynamics chart, the opposite end of the spectrum uses the F symbol. Forte translates to loud. Adding a second F gives you fortissimo, demanding a very loud, powerful sound. Notice these are always written in lowercase italics, directly beneath the staff.
On this same section of the chart, you can see how to hit the middle ground. The word mezzo literally translates to half. By placing an M in front, you create mezzo piano for moderately quiet, or mezzo forte for moderately loud. Volume is fluid. Moving up to the top rows, these wedge signs act as visual roadmaps. The opening wedge is a crescendo, telling you to gradually become louder. The closing wedge is a decrescendo, or diminuendo, meaning to gradually become softer. Mastering these volume shifts gives a flat, two-dimensional piece of sheet music actual physical scale and acoustic depth. Here we see the specific visual instructions for how your hands physically interact with the instrument. A dot placed over or under a note means staccato. Play it short and detached. Contrast that with the curved line below it, called a slur. This demands a legato performance, where the notes are played smoothly and totally connected. While a slur connects different notes, a similar curved line linking two identical pitches is a tie, meaning you hold the first note for the exact combined value of both. And right beneath that is the fermata, or pause sign. It looks like an I, and it tells you to freeze, holding that specific note for longer than its written value. Composers also write in explicit mood directions. Cantabile asks you to play in a singing style, while dolce means to play sweetly. On the more aggressive side, an accent mark above a note means you strike it strongly with an immediate attack. Any of these instructions can be dialed up or down using two simple modifiers, poco meaning a little, or molto meaning very. Finally, we have the roadmap commands, telling your eyes exactly where to jump on the page. As this reference chart shows, da capo translates to repeat from the beginning, while del segno means repeat from the sign. You'll also encounter standard repeat marks framing sections that need to be played twice. To locate the absolute conclusion of a piece, look for the word fine marking the end. And if you see an ottava sign above or below the staff, it shifts your physical position, requiring you to play the entire section one full octave higher or lower than where it is written. Every slur, every dot, and every Italian phrase acts as a direct stage direction to the performer's body, dictating exactly how you physically execute the music. When you apply the Grade 1 code to the skeletal notes of our first example, the score becomes a dense map of intent. Every wedge and dot provides a specific emotional instruction that was missing from the bare staff. By layering these commands, you build specific characters. A passage marked staccato, pianissimo, and allegro feels anxious, light, and frantic. Take those exact same notes and mark them legato, fortissimo, and adagio, and you produce a massive, heavy wall of sound. The ABRSM Grade 1 terms are the essential tools required to pull the composer's true intention off the page and push it out into the room. By learning to speak this code fluently, you stop reciting data and you begin to perform. Fine.